10 people.
Thank you everyone for attending our webinar for today. So I want to make a small announcement regarding our level 1 program starting from next Thursday. So our level 1 program consists of 4 different modules, and it contains also group mentoring and individual mentoring as well. And after completing this program, students should submit one recording for performance evaluation, and then they will receive a level 1 diploma, and based on this diploma you can get the certification from International Coaching Federation as ACC. So ACC means Associated Certified Coach. So in our program, we have all the components that is required for ACC accreditation, and you need to pass only the examination by the ICF. And after level 1, you can also continue 2 additional modules as well, and to complete also level 2 program as well, which is also provided by our school. So we are having this special promotion for the next generation, which starts from April 24th, which means that if you will make only a down payment of 300 euro, in this case, you will receive discount of 300 euro, which means that the total price of the program will be 2,450 instead of 2,750, because we have left several places in our upcoming program. So we will share all these details and also payment link for the down payment as well with webinar recording tomorrow during the day, but the registration is open until April 20. So please, those who consider to join our program, please finish your registration until April 20. So I have finished my announcement. Thank you for your attention. And now, dear Avi, floor is yours.
Okay, may I bring a short introduction before we start with the presentation, please?
Of course.
So, where am I? Here I am. As some of you might know, I'm Jewish by religion, and this means that this week we are celebrating the Passover, the story of the Israelites, slaves in Egypt land. Go down, Moses, way down to Egypt land, and tell Pharaoh to let my people go. So this is for us Jews. For the Christians, it's very interesting that this month of April, which in Hebrew is called Nisan, also in Turkish Nisan, and it was a agricultural event after the winter. And maybe in winter where people are cradled and then spring comes out, you open up and it associates with freedom. So we have the Jewish story of the Exodus, but for the Christians, the Easter goes with the idea of liberating the soul out of the flesh, out of the body, which is also an alchemical transformation from something that is restricted to the body, and the body is considered very low in its developmental values, and the spirit goes out, and this is the resurrection, and Jesus who is crucified. Now, Jesus himself, Joshua, he was a Jew, and when he came to Jerusalem, it was in Passover. The last meal of Jesus is actually our Passover meal. So coincidence, as you will call it, the transformation from slavery into freedom is parallel to from enslaved by the body into the spiritual, become the Son of God. Same with the Muslims. like 600 years later on. The Muslims just finished now Eid al-Fitr and this month of fasting. What is this? A whole month since sunrise to sunset, you are fasting. What is this torture? Once again comes to liberate the body and become very spiritual. So when we thought about this monthly webinar, I said to Nino, "Hey, let's make an evening where we will discuss the issue of freedom in the context of Jungian coaching." And this is where we come to a very short lecture that I will stimulate you, and then I will do a coaching session. So please, while I'm lecturing about freedom from the point of view of Jungian coaching, think about something you want to get rid of or to be free from. It can be an obsession, it can be anything that is confining you, restricting you, holding you back from something you really wish. And let's see how coaching can really free you out of your um, inhibitions or obstacles. Of course, it resonates like the hero quest. And maybe, or very likely, if we work with freeing, helping our clients to free themselves, we should associate indeed with the hero quest. So, Nino, I'm ready now for the lecture, and I see some friends that will help me read. Um, so, we are in good company. Good evening to those who joined us lately. This propaganda is over. So, the only time where Jung is mentioning the word freedom is in 1958 in his book Aeon, published by the publishing house of Bullingen. Those were his students, millionaires from America that created the Princeton publishing house for Jungian um, writings. And I will quote Jung and will explain the text. Jung always requires some explanation. Instinctive tendencies. Instinctive tendencies is a synonym concept for Jung to archetypes, because the archetypes, according to Jung, are instincts. So archetypes or instinctive tendencies assert themselves for or against one's subjective interest, no matter whether an outside authority approves it or not. What does it mean? That human beings are autonomous, that we are free to have our thoughts, our ideas, our needs, whether they are instincts and they can become from the root, their source can become internal without the approval of an external authority, starting with papa, mama, teacher, tradition, regime, etc., etc. Says Jung, the inner authority, which means the superego, which means the self, does not need to be consulted first, as it is present at the outset in the intensity of the tendency struggling for decision, which means inside our psyche there is already a struggle between the internal authority, that is to say our internal God, that is to say our self, and our persona or our shadow. In this struggle, the individual, our client, is never a spectator only. So beautifully he pronounces it. The client takes part in it voluntarily and tries to throw the weight of his feeling of moral freedom into the scale of decision, which means when our client is in a struggle, we can already feel a wish for freedom. Next slide. Now, I see Judith Harigatai. When Judith studied in Budapest with me, Jungian Coaching, we had a student that came at that time all the way from South Africa. You remember Alexa. And Alexa had a partner in life, and he is a Jungian analyst. Surprisingly, he is Palestinian who lives in South Africa for many years, and his name is Stefan Farah. And I was very glad to meet a short article that he wrote about Jungian approach to freedom. So I said, why not use this contact and share with you his wisdom? But first and foremost, he goes to Rudolf Steiner. Rudolf Steiner invented the anthroposophy and was born in the border between Croatia and Hungary. So once again, we are connected to Judith Arigatai, who is a teacher of the Jungian of the Hero Quest module number 4 in level 1 in our school. So Stefan Farah is quoting Rudolf Steiner. Nature makes of man merely a natural being. It is society which makes of him a law-abiding being. Only he himself can make of himself a free man. This is a bit sadistic, and very challenging, meaning what? I'm born free, but very, very soon society, that is to say my mama and papa, make me obedient, and then I should remember that in the very beginning I was born free. It's a bit sadistic and a bit cynical. Nevertheless, here is what Steiner says later. The freedom we are talking about here is the freedom to make your own choices. Choices which are not predetermined or governed by any factor external to you. This sounds already the milieu of coaching. What does it mean to make a choice that is not governed by an external factor or predetermined? Next, Nino. What do I want? Let's hear it from Judith. Can you please read it, Judith? Thank you, dear. Slowly. What do I want?
What do I want? I ask myself what I want. I ask whether the satisfaction of this want is appropriate.
Which means, may I allow myself? Is it not sick? Is it not pervert? Is it not exaggerated? Is it appropriate?
By appropriate, here we mean, will it serve me and is it aligned with my ethical framework and worldview? Simply my beliefs, in other words. However, in going through a process like this, where exactly is the freedom? Firstly, the desire itself is a given. I do not create desires. Desires are given to me. That is to say, I'm subject to my desires, not master or creator of them. Secondly, on what does my ethical framework rest? An external moral authority, personal preferences, prejudices, and where did this originate?
Okay, stop sharing a moment. I will share 5 minutes a case study from this afternoon. I'm working with a lady that was born in Minsk and got married in St. Petersburg and then immigrated to Tel Aviv. And she is in many troubles. But today, suddenly, she sat back on the couch and she said, Avi, When I was 2 years old, I discovered the piano. By the way, she finished the Jerusalem Music Academy as a pianist and as orchestrator. Judith, it's interesting. So she said, I remember 2 years old, I was playing with two fingers on the piano. And the sound of the voices of the piano were magic to me. Now she's in computer science and she's terribly miserable. If we go back to the text that Judith read for us, this choice is given to us in a spontaneous, instinctual way. It is so pure, which means if you want to be free, you want to connect to your authenticity, but there are a million obstacles that will pull you away from the natural instinct to become who you need to become. Think about gender identity. Think about bad marriage that you're stuck there. Think about the need to bring money for survival without being able to choose your own profession. Back to the presentation. So up until now, we are with Rudolf Steiner and with the ability of choice. Next. Next. Why should I, no. Why should I choose A over B? This is a way to go inside the internal speech of our client. In order to make this choice, I consult my current inventory of prejudices. I'm never at the zero point, so to speak. There is always a framework that I am operating within and which dictates which choice is the right one. Freedom is our very constitution. Think about it. Only he himself can make himself a free man. Only he himself can make himself an unfree man. Only he himself can make himself a happy man. Only he himself can make himself an adventurous man. Only he himself can make himself an inquisitive man. Only he himself can make himself a transcendent man. Jessica, can you read this, but for feminine? Because Rudolf Steiner, when he wrote this, there was no equality between gender.
Yes, I was just thinking that actually.
I read your mind, baby. Make me free.
Freedom is our very constitution. Think about it. Only she herself can make herself a free woman. Only she herself can make herself an unfree woman. Only she herself can make herself a happy woman. Only she herself can make herself an adventurous woman. Only she herself can make herself an inquisitive woman. Only she herself can make herself a transcendent woman.
Next.
And did you do they also?
No. We continue, Yeah. Freedom is consciousness. Wow. This calls for explanation. Because with this title, we are approximating Carl Gustav Jung. Here you have the solution. If you bring your ideas, your wishes, your drives, your instincts into the conscious level, then you are free. Remember Martin Luther, I have a dream. When he announced it, when he proclaimed it out loud, then he started the process of freedom. Jessica, can you go on reading?
Yes. Well, for one thing, it means realizing that you do not have a destiny, at least not in the sense that there is a destiny out there in the world waiting for you to arrive. As long as you are alive, what you have is possibility. Only once you die does that possibility become your destiny. Jung seems to be in agreement with Steiner here. Jung too believes that freedom is possible. However, Jung equates this possibility to access freedom with consciousness. That is to say, we are only as free or can only be as free as we are conscious.
Okay, I need to relate to the first paragraph and then to the second paragraphs, each paragraph with a comment. Personally, I disagree with Rudolf Steiner that destiny is when you're dead and that you don't have a choice, which means we will see that Christopher Bolas, the president of the Psychoanalytic Association in London, when he wrote his book, Forces of Destiny, he postulates the opposite, that we are born to curve and design our destiny. But this is a philosophical debate that we will postpone to the end of this short lecture. Comment about Jung. What is crucial for us as Jungian coaches, is to understand that our job is to bring unknown ideas of freedom to the conscious level of the client. Next, Nino. We go back to Steiner. As long as my actions are dedicated by my unconscious mind, I remain unfree, says Jung. To the extent that I make the unconscious conscious, the possibility of freedom opens up. Ladies and gentlemen, freedom doesn't mean happiness. Some people are in terrible suffering to maintain their freedom. Think about a gay or lesbian people that their family rejected them. They are free. They decided who they were, but they pay a very high price. Same if you want to leave Israel or you want to leave Hungary because you don't like the regime, you are free to go, but you pay the price of homesick. So freedom is not equal to happiness. Freedom is something much deeper. And according to Jung, in order to free your thoughts and ideas, you have first of all to be able to announce them, to verbalize them, to formalize them on the conscious level. Freedom for Jung is a more limited possibility because of the significant role of the unconscious in the psychic economy. But still the possibility exists inasmuch as I bring the searchlight of consciousness to bear on my psyche and in my life. I have an insight, I find the words, I define, I actualize, I am free, not without a price. Next, please. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have questions, write them down. And here we connect to Jung's central concept in the Jungian psychology, individuation. According to Jung, to individuate means to realize that over and above the given qualities of your physical, social, and cultural being, you actually exist. You are an intangible, irreducible, unquantifiable entity, an entity that is capable of becoming that which it chooses to become, and this is equal to a free person. So the process of individuation goes for freedom. Now let's go back to another lady who speaks fluent English, such as where is our dear, Janine. Can you read for us about Christopher Bolas, but please read slowly.
Sure, thank you. What seems to motivate or push human beings into becoming a character is, according to Bolas, the destiny drive. Bolas differentiates between fate and destiny. His understanding of destiny's role in human function is similar, in my opinion, to Jung's concept of individuation led by the self.
Says
Bolas,
Avi.
Bolas believes that destiny becomes a more positive concept depicting that course that is a potential in one's life. One can fulfill one's destiny if one is fortunate, if one is determined, if one is aggressive enough. Possibly the idea of fate derives from agrarian culture where people are dependent on the seasons and the weather for their nurturance, thus giving man a sense that his life is very much up to the elements. If this is true, then destiny is a positive factor, may be linked with the rise of middle class as individuals who, through vision and labor, are able to take some control of their lives and chart their future. A sense of destiny, Bolas explains, would be a feeling that the person is fulfilling some of the terms of his inner idiom through familial, social, cultural, and intellectual objects.
Thank you so much, dear Janine. I love this conceptualization as it is entangling and connecting to the coaching mindset. We are not condemned. We are not under fate. We have a destiny. Second part of life, people who join the Jungian coaching school and the Jungian coaching community, those are people who take their destiny in their hand and they say, I want to become a coach. I want to do something that is unpopular, maybe a pioneer profession, but this is my destiny. And this is beautiful. Next, Nino. And here I want to introduce to you a philosopher and clinical psychologist who unconsciously passed away because of cancer, quite young, very big genius, an Israeli philosopher and psychologist, Carlos Strenger, who was born to an Orthodox religious family in Switzerland, immigrated years ago and became the dean of the Faculty of Clinical Psychology in the University of Tel Aviv. And in his 3 books, he relates to the issue of freedom. In his first book, Critique of Global Unreason, Individuality and Meaning in the Global Era, he says, in order for us to sense a true authorship over our life, we must accept the fact that we actually never choose for ourselves the basic materials in which we were made of. We didn't choose our parents. We didn't choose the country we were born. We didn't choose our physical potential. Actually, we are born condemned. We don't have any authority on that. All we can do is design our lives from a clear vision of our limitations, which means to start thinking about freedom. This is very important what I tell you, ladies and gentlemen. In order to start thinking about freedom, we must accept our limitation. Next, please. Then, in his second book, Individuality, the Impossible Project, Carlos Strenger speaks about authorship versus sentenced. The sexual life we live, in sexual life, we live the drama of authorship versus sentenced. The desire for a full life and the attempt to cope with an unbearable fate. Perversions are nothing but a more dramatic mode of that same struggle acted out by those who experience a bigger portion of reality as an unbearable destiny and are forced to create a more complex and intelligent screenplay in order to preserve their sense of authorship. In simple words, Strenger takes us to the forbidden or the content that is most preoccupying people, but the least they report about their sexual life. And he says in sexual life, you have two roles. You are either the author, the authority, or you are the submissive, the sentenced. And in this game between owning and leading and controlling the situation versus being submissive, passive, and condemned, there is this game of perversia that we are checking in sexual life these options whether I am enslaved or I am free, which means Strenger says that we are in sexual life under a little laboratory of freedom. Very challenging. Next, please. Nino.
I moved to next slide.
Okay, the design saves the psychoanalysis of contemporary identities is his last book. And here again, I found this quotation. I relate to an attempt to assist people who got stuck in their search for a sense of authorship on their lives, which means people come to therapy. They don't proclaim, they don't report, but actually he understands that they come for search for freedom. They refer to therapy because they feel that they cannot succeed in turning their lives into a creation with which they can identify. Just like a bricolage artist claiming I cannot turn the basic materials I received for shaping my life to live a worthy life indeed. Bricolage is the kind of art that you find from what we provide to you. So if you say, well, these lousy materials I cannot do art with, you will never turn your life into something which is precious. So it goes back to the basic limitations. Next, Nino. Bravo. So I think that this lecture, which personally I liked a lot, is stimulating what is freedom in Jungian terms, bringing out to conscious level your ideas, being ready to pay the price, liberating yourself from inhibitions, accepting your limitations, that is to say, in Jungian terms, your shadow, your inferiority, and creating your destiny with your own ego, which is your hero. Do we have any questions among the audience before we are going into a half an hour Jungian coaching session? Please, questions. Oh, 44 people, one question. Yeah, OJ. Open your speaker then.
Hi, thank you, Avi. I really liked it. I really enjoyed listening what you're saying. My question, when we talked about ego and then we talked about inner struggle and shadow, our shadow, where I just had the question, my mind pops, where is the intuition in that? Because we are intuitive beings and there is something that's amazingly guide us in a way.
Yesterday night, I couldn't sleep, and I was debating with myself about an issue. And then I remember, now that you say, I touched my forehead, I pressed it very, very tight, and I said to myself, speak to intuition. And for me, intuition is a woman by gender. So I had to talk to her. And intuition, she was so crystal clear. She immediately connected to myself, and the two, Mr. Self and Lady Intuition, they really, really bombard my ego with a decision what I should do. It's about writing my heritage and who will be in charge out of my three children, something very intimate and something that you don't decide by calculation or by the mind, by intuition. So to your question, intuition is that irrational wisdom that knows, does not apologize, does not justify or explain, just tells you marry him or move out or pick it up or run away or kiss it or so it's something so valuable that we are educated from day one to get away from because it's not scientific. This is intuition. How intuition connects to freedom. I think twice. Once when you give birth to a free mind, and second, when you start taking choices and decisions, sometimes you need to do it fast, and intuition is a good compass. Thank you for your question.
We have also one question in chat. So, how does individuation relate to living in society and accepting its values and rules?
The answer is simple and very cruel. It's walking on a rope. Because on the one hand, if you detach from your originality, from authenticity, from what we call in psychology ego syntonic, who you are, and you dislocate, you will develop either neurosis, pathology, or psychosomatics. You will be bitter, cynical, and a negative person if you detach from who you are. But if you insist to become who you are and you do not take under consideration the society, the nest, the environment, the limitations in which you live, you become a psychopath or you become isolated. And then you cannot fulfill your individuation process. So never, nobody promised a rose garden, and we have to go step by step. I think that this is why people would come to coaching. Not because they are weak, not because they are helpless, but because they want to do the process of individuation with somebody that will empower them, somebody that will take the liberty to enable them reveal their true self. I see some faces on the screen that shared such a process with me, and I'm very proud to being able to facilitate for them. And I've been doing this all my life still. It's you know, when you live an individuation process, you live authentic life. I never promised you without suffering, but it's authentic. So who is this Charlie who is laughing now or smiling? Open your speaker at least.
Good morning, Dr. Avi. Good morning.
Here it's good night, but it's your freedom. It's your morning. Where are you?
I'm in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, good. So here it's evening, there it's morning, and now I think we are ready to to ask people to volunteer for a coaching session, but please think about something you want to connect to freedom. And then raise up your hand and I will ask you some questions and then I will choose. So, Graziano, I don't promise you, but I want to hear you, please.
I think this is related. It's funny that it's related because I'm at a point in my life that's very transitional. I just ended my career. My son is grown and I'm on my own and I can make my own decisions. But I feel like I'm still restricted. Even though my son is 34, I feel like I'm supposed to still be a mother in some way. And even though I'm not with a partner, I still feel like I very much absorbed sort of male critical view of things. So I'm very hard on myself. And I feel like
And if you had a coaching session with me and it would have been a very freeing one, what do you expect to gain from such a session? What would you, yeah.
I think the decisions I made would be unbiased by these restrictions. In other
Yeah,
words,
but do you,
you know, there would be some freedom in the choices I make, and I wouldn't feel compelled to do X, Y, and Z because I'm Jake's mom, or compelled to look this way or that because of what society says, what males look like, that kind of thing.
yeah. Do you see that when I asked Janine to formalize or define what would be a successful coaching session, her answer was actually bringing unconscious drives and needs into conscious level. I wish I could consider my daily acts without being the mother of Jay and or having a masculine criticism standing there on a twig and croak. So you see that this is the ability to pronounce the need is already a one step to bring it from unconscious to consciousness, for sure. Any other volunteer to compete Janine's luck because she worked with me previously and now I think now she's in the program and she will study with me feminine and masculine principles. So we will get acquainted. Yeah, Jessica Tracy, another American lady.
I would like to free myself from comparison. I think that I sense of what I want to do and where I want to go, and I think it's so easy to get distracted by, you know, what other people are doing and how they're presenting themselves and how they're sharing their business and how they're positioning themselves and I think that it shifts it away from like what authentically is and takes it to more of like the persona.
Jesse, do you have crayons and 2A4 paper?
Yes.
Good. So I choose to work with you. Okay? And Janine, I hug you. And I vote for you. And Jessica, yeah. And while she's going to bring her paper and crayons, I want to tell you that one of the very efficient tools for us to empower and encourage clients to touch freedom is the ego self dialogue. It's not so surprising. If the self is our internal God and the part in our personality in unconsciousness that knows what's good for us. Yeah, Zoe, you remember my lecture in Athena. Yeah. So if the self is this part that knows, and if the ego is the slave with all the fears, so by creating with the client this axis between the ego and the self, we start a process, at least of open communication from the unconsciousness to the conscious level. So Jessica, may you please state out loud the purpose of this meeting. What do you want to gain? I would like in one sentence, shrink it.
I would like to live through my own authenticity and autonomy.
And right now you're not, because you said you keep comparing.
I think I get distracted. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily not, but I get distracted perhaps off of my true path.
And which are the distractors that blockade you, or obstacles that block you from?
I think it's wanting to build out my coaching career fully. And when I see someone else doing something exciting that I also have the capability to do, sometimes I can say, oh, I want to also incorporate that into my practice, or maybe that's how I should position this instead. And because of that, I can start to put energy towards something else.
I'll ask again. You are distracted. I want please to hear 5 distractions, 5 obstacles.
Okay.
1.
5 obstacles would be
Bravo.
other initiatives.
You said in the beginning that you keep comparing.
Mhm.
You keep comparing to others.
Mhm.
So it means that obstacle number 1 is other people. You
Oh,
keep
other,
staring, looking, right? It's like the grass of the neighbor is greener.
yeah.
Right?
Other people, other
Write it down, write it down. People, other people. Do you
people.
identify any other distractors? In coactive, they call it saboteurs. Other saboteurs that sabotage your ability to.
I would say other responsibilities.
Other responsibilities is 2.
Okay. Other passions.
Other passions, desires.
I would say maybe a lack of worthiness.
I'm not worthy.
Mhm.
Bravo. How many do you have so far?
4.
Bravo. So can you draw a very concrete drawing? Let me explain what is concrete. A very simple drawing that will display these 4 distractors. If any distraction comes up in addition, you can draw the other one as well. And also show how unfree you are at this present situation when you come to coaching, how restricted you are. And for this, you have 5 minutes. So really do a fast, simple, concrete, in the sense that when you show this drawing, everybody can understand that here is a young woman that is really restricted by A, B, C, D, E. So for those of you who are interested in the technique, I am assuring that the drawing will be concrete, comprehensible on the ego conscious level, as children draw. Very simple, not sophisticated at all. So Petra Chavka, where are you from?
Croatia.
Ah, bravo. And Masha? Masha?
Can you hear me?
Yeah?
Also Croatia.
What's going on? So Amlica is also from Croatia? But the dog is from Serbia. No.
No, it's
And
also from Croatia. It's also from Croatia. But I had
bravo.
some encounters with also Serbian and Kosovan dogs.
And we have Amalia Sodia.
Yes, hello. I'm from
Hello.
Greece.
You're from Greece, of course.
Yes.
Good. And Monica, where from?
Czech Republic.
Hello, dobry wieczór. And Barbara Tybon?
Hello from Poland.
Oh, good. Good evening. And Lila Herzog.
Hi, Avi, from Croatia, Lila Herceg.
Great. Okay, I was interviewing a little bit people, introducing Jessica. Where are you?
Almost there.
Good. So I will go on a meeting. Sokolovic, where are you from?
I'm from Serbia.
That's good. A bit south. Zoe is from Athena. And well, it's interesting. The other screen, everybody with cameras closed. Boyana, Despina, Katarina, Biliana, Sonia. Yeah, Irina. Anna Tebanu, she's from Romania, very likely. Valeri Kamotok.
I'm here. Just listening to you.
Where are you from?
I'm from Romania.
That's good. Welcome. Okay, Jesse, your time is out.
Okay.
Show me. I put you on pin to see very well your drawing.
Yeah.
Ade? Wow. Congratulations for your earring in your nose.
All right. So
Explain.
this is me, the center.
Yes.
This is where all of my eyes are. And this is an example of social media or LinkedIn, where I'm constantly inundated with all of the amazing things that people are doing and all of the ways, I guess, that people are positioning themselves or branding themselves in order to get new clients and build their business. This is my passion. So this is harp, me learning to sing. Also, what would be here is like writing. And this is my family. This is me and my partner with the drum, because that takes up a lot of our time. This is a representation of my other jobs that I have. And then this is time.
And you're not free. You are not a free person because, to remind you, our contract, what do you want to gain?
I want to gain autonomy through authenticity.
Autonomy?
Through authenticity.
Bravo. Now it came up with a big echo. Why do we have echo? Jesse, close. Okay. So now I want you to do on another A4, please, abstract drawing that you will use with other materials. Any abstract drawing.
Okay. I can still use crayons?
Anything that will be abstract, not concrete, and will not be resembling in nothing to the previous drawing. Now she is doing a representation of her internal self, which is abstract and strong. That's enough. Show me.
Show you? Okay.
Wow. Interesting. That's very interesting because I thought you were doing a scribble or something, but wow, there is an order here. Okay. Put this drawing under, not below, under the drawing of your troubles. Exactly. You can put them on the table and let this symbol speak to the upper drawing about the dilemma that you brought to coaching.
Okay.
So just to say to everybody to resonate with the lecture that I gave you before we started this demonstration, My job as a Jungian coach is to bring to Jessica's awareness her need to fulfill her authentic need and not to be distracted by all the external stimuluses. And we want to hear a dialogue about this issue between the upper and the lower drawing. Go ahead.
Okay.
Can you put down a little bit your computer so that we can see? Yes, this is perfect. And put your finger to the part that speaks.
All right.
Bravo. And you can start. Bravo.
I am feeling pulled in so many directions. Once I feel motivated by my path, I see, let's say, shiny object of what somebody else is doing or how they're presenting themselves, and I feel less worthy. I feel pulled, my energy pulled from perhaps what's my inner truth.
Bravo. So the self looked at her, put your finger down there, yes. And what can you tell her about this dilemma? Speak directly to her.
You have the ability to do whatever you want, and you
Repeat
find
it 3 times. You have the ability.
you have the ability to do whatever you want. You have the ability to do whatever you want. You have the ability to do whatever you want.
So
And
she said,
and who, her?
yeah.
Okay. Yes, I feel that, and I think that I get excited when I see what others are doing, and then I say, oh, I can incorporate that too, or I can learn that, and I can pull that into my approach. And or maybe I feel like I need to, because what I'm doing isn't enough. And it's draining my energy terribly.
So he said,
Yes, you need to come from the power within. There's so many distractions out there, and they're shiny distractions. What you see on social media are just shiny images of something that people curated to look perfect and put out there. And you forget what's behind the scene of all of that. And you can use that for inspiration, but you need to stay connected to your mission and your heart's path.
so she asked,
How can you help me to know what that looks like for me? I am trying to build my business. I am trying to prove my worth with my business and what I have to offer. And I think that's part of it is I feel like I have to prove myself. So I think on how I present and how I get myself out there has to be perfect in this certain way. And it's never good enough, never enough. It's always having to improve.
and he said,
You need to
close your eyes, freeze, and just see how your finger connects to this one that is speaking to Jessica. Just feel the touch of the finger at the point with your eyes closed. He said previously, be connected. Now there is a finger point here. Press it a bit hard so that you see this nuclear, this bottom, this seed, this whatever, and find the word, call it by the word. Who are you? Ask it, who are you?
Who are you?
Again, 3 times.
Who are you? Who are you? Who are you?
And this part said,
I'm a burst of radiant energy and power. I'm a
yep.
burst of radiant energy and power. I'm a burst of radiant energy and power.
So Jesse, open your eyes and check, maybe you will need scissors, which part of the inner self can you apply on your troubled picture so that it will really bring you one step forwards towards, yeah, I see that you're cutting, towards a more congruent or more definite way to be connected when you are distracted so much. Take your time. This is a very crucial moment where you're bringing a symbol from your unconscious to the conscious level in order to create a path for freedom. Oops, wow. What does this new immigrant part tells your previous drawing? Now that I'm here, the way I'm located.
It's telling me to
Not let it talk.
stop looking at other people. It's distracting you. Stop looking at what others are doing or how they're positioning themselves. Take quiet time and build and grow from within and follow that unique path. There's just too much inputs and it's just kind of taking you off of your path. You have your interest here. You have your family, you have your job. You have you, and this is what you need to continue to develop. And you really need to focus and pour time into you.
Don't
You
stop
need
with this finger. Don't stop with this finger. Don't stop. Don't stop. Go on. Yes, in, out. While you don't stop doing this, please ask yourself, how do I keep this contact on a daily basis?
How do I keep this contact on a daily basis?
And the self said,
Explore yourself and be bold about it. Explore yourself and be bold about it. Explore yourself and be bold about it. Test out what comes from this boldness, this brightness, this shine. You've been so afraid to shine and authentically shine. So explore this and allow this to get brighter and brighter in a way that's most authentic to you.
bravo. Okay. Let's go back to remove the pin. Let's have you bring us an option to see you. How do you feel now with this dialogue, with this process, in the presence of your wish to be free of all these comparisons and to be more connected? What do you feel now?
I feel good. I think it's something that I've like been aware of. So I think it's just a matter of allowing this to really be present. I think this is like the awareness I've had, and this is really, I think, just like owning this part. And I think what you said, you said he, right? I've been very much in my feminine, really just becoming. I've been becoming. And what I haven't done as much of is now bringing that of what I've become into the world. And
Wow.
that's like the part.
Did you mention, there is a concept in Jungian psychology, I have to connect to my
self.
There is another concept. You said you were in the being.
Yeah.
In
Oh,
your
my
femininity.
my masculine. Yeah, my animus.
Bravo. Yeah. Now
Yeah.
look at these linear lines that come out from the red, like arrows, like sun rays. There is a direction, but this is, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that the sun rays represent that, yes, I am going to have a variety of aspects to me and what I offer, and that's okay. But to make sure that it's like all connected to this deeply.
Jesse, let's see, what did you learn on Sunday school in church or whatever? How did Moses cut the sea into two in order to free the Israelites from Pharaoh chasing after them with chariots? They came into a water obstacle.
Yeah, oh man, I didn't really pay attention in CCD. Didn't he use his staff?
He used something. What did he use?
Staff? A staff?
Yeah, yeah. So it's this stick. We call it mate in the Bible language. But mate.
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 Okay.
Yeah. And it comes from the root to shape, leatot. For example, tendency, netiya. So he was directing and the water opened up. It's a very animus act. This is a huge insight that if you don't want to be disrupted by comparing all the time, you need to have a line to align with a line. And this is what you say, I have to connect to my animus. Okay, some people want to acknowledge you. And as I told you, I never promised you a rose garden. The individuation process is not a one-time coaching session. And keeping the light, the flame of freedom, is an everyday work. So those of you who are in the program, you will practice this a lot. Those of you who are going to join us, this is where we are going to the ego self-dialogue in the process of freedom. Please, guys, express yourself freely, either to Jessica, to me, or share what do you feel yourselves.
Hi, Avi. I want to go for both of you first. I truly value.
Present yourself.
Okay, so I'm Nuria Mendoza. I'm from Portugal. I represent the Jungian Coaching School in Portugal and Brazil. And I had the pleasure to be with Avi since the first generation. And this is my first return I want to give is even if I'm learning with you, Avi, since 2020, so 5 years from now, every moment gives me extra value. So thank you for that, for your wisdom and for sharing your wisdom for free with all over the world. So, and to Jessica, that I had the pleasure to meet personally in the last retreat in Greece, I want to tell you that I felt your anima, but I also felt your animals during the retreat. And I truly believe that when you find the balance and the equilibrium between both of them, everything will just blow up as the self-design that you create. Trust yourself.
Thank you.
Jessica, thank you for sharing this topic. I think all of us learned a lot, especially coaches who wants to just set up the business, and it's also, I think, a very useful topic really for us all. And Avi, it's the tool is just incredible again. I mean, I have kind of resistance to this kind of tools, and I believe in more in the oral or talking about things, but anytime you show us how it works, it was just great to see. Even you mentioned, Jessica, that it was a shining and showing the light, how it can be resolve this problem for you. So yeah, it's amazing how it works in coaching. So thank you so much, both.
Hello, I am Angeliki from Greece, and I am an art psychotherapist. And watching your artwork, Jessica, of the flame and the expanding of the light, I had a very strong image that it is the negative of a peacock tail. When something that was hidden before, now it's open and ready to shine and glow. And you know, when the male peacock opens its tail and shakes it, he wants to enchant the girl peacock. I don't know the word, the female. So I felt like there was a dancing between your male and female side. You connected me a lot with that.
Love that.
Ladies, gentlemen, don't be shy. This is your opportunity and time to bring a third dimension to these webinars. You know, when you bring yourself, we are becoming community. So don't hesitate.
Can I say something about what Angelica?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, you brought awareness to something too, because I think that I've always had such a like shame around let's say shining like a peacock's for the feminine. Look at me, this is what I have. I shine. Do you see me? I'm doing this dance. Don't you see me? And I think I've been correlating shame to putting myself out there with my coaching business, because you have to sell yourself to sell your coaching. So I've had a lot of shame. So I guess this picture obviously is very much like continuing to do it. And now that I've been doing all of the looking at everyone else kind of doing it, that's where it's being overwhelmed with the comparison of how are other people doing it. So perhaps like really finding time to say, how does this truly come through me? Versus looking at other people and how they're finding their expression.
Yes, and it's easy to diverse your energy into many beautiful things, like playing the harp or dancing or drawing or anything. And you just divide your energy. When you were talking, I was looking at this statue, if you can see that, and I thought it was you.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful.
It's like a phoenix expanding from flames and opening its wings.
And a beautiful one.
Yeah, I like it so much.
Yeah, in the process of expanding and showing, which
You
is
know,
like
I wondered where this peacock disappeared. I forgot. Now I see.
So this is also my peacock, and this is gift from Avi. I did not stole it, Avi.
I
It
didn't
was a
steal
gift.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say something. Many of you are a psychotherapist or experienced, but really, when you work with laymen, with naive people, with people that innocently come to coaching, and you ask them simply to draw their dilemma as Jessica did, and then to create a scribble something that is abstract, the dialogue and the insight that comes along with the dialogue are so overwhelming because they are giving the client a sense of freedom. What is the freedom? Not the dialogue. The insight that burst out and was not planned. It's not something like a pupil comes to the teacher and planned already the speech. This kind of dialogue initiates the authentic language of the client. And this language, unfortunately, as we read in the lecture as well, is blocked by our parents so very early in our life. So very early we are educated to shut up and behave accordingly. So very early. Sometimes we even learn this through the way our father speaks to our mother. We learn that we should rather not reveal our true self. And freedom is, as Jung says, to bring it up from the unconscious. What does it mean, unconscious? When it is prima materia, when it is not elaborated, when it is amorphic, when it is hyolic, when it is very, very basic primer substance, as Christopher Bollas calls it, unthought known, which means ideas that never were verbalized before, and suddenly it comes out. And this is a moment of freedom. Thank you so much. And back to Nino, that will bring us back to the marketing aspect of this evening as well.
Yeah. So, Avi, thank you very much for a great lecture and great demonstration. And thank you, Jessica, for sharing your topic and your insights. It was really, really insightful also for us. So now go back to our announcement. So now we start our next program after 1 week, and actually we are having now a special promotion for this program. So if you consider to join our program, you should make just €300 down payment, and in this case you will receive discounts, and in this case the total price for the program will be, instead of 2,750, the price will be 2,450, and of course you can use also a flexible payment plan for the rest amount of money. So tomorrow we will share all this information to all our participants with the recording of the webinar. So thank you very much again for your participation, and we wish you a very peaceful evening. Thanks a lot.
Bye, ladies. Nice to have
Bye.
met you.
Bye-bye.
Nino, can I ask you a question? Sorry, I have a marketing question.
Yes, Carly.
Marketing question is, because I have a friend I want to make sure I'm sending this information to, is the new course starting on the 24th of April, or?
Yes, but this is so time zone is not appropriate for US. That's why. Yes,
okay.
so this is more time friendly for Europe and also eastern part of the world. So I guess that your friend will be from US as well.
Yeah, this particular friend is from the US. I'll still send her the marketing stuff if it's okay if I pass this on to her, but I'll come offline so we're not bugging everybody with this. I'll come to you offline.
Okay, please text me and I will share all this information. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Avi. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.